Hi, I'm Brian, Service Manager at Whole Latte Love, and today we're going to go over to removing the housing from your Profitec Pro 300.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, so you need two tools, a 2.5 millimeter Allen wrench and a 3 millimeter Allen wrench. Okay, first things first, always safety first. Make sure your machine's unplugged. Then we're going to take off our accessories, drip tray and grid, and reservoir.
I like the way you popped that out of there. Wow.
Yeah. It's like I know what I'm doing or something.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to start at the top, removing the top plate here. It's the 2.5 millimeter. Got 4 screws up here. Got 2 long ones in the front. And got 2 short ones back here, right at the lip. And so you can see the difference between those. Hard to mix them up, but if you try to put the short ones in the front, it's not going to work. Keep that in mind on the flip side.
Okay.
Okay, now we have the top off. With the top off, you have great access to both of the boilers on the top. So if you need to do anything as far as testing elements, adjusting your pressure stat, adjusting your OPV, things of that nature, this is as far as you would need to go.
Pretty easy to get in there.
Yep. Okay. But let's say we want to get a little bit deeper into this puppy. So we're going to take all the housing off. All right, and we're going to start off on the bottom of the machine. We have 4 screws we're going to remove. You got one in the front on this side, one in the front on that side. Then you got one in the back on that side and that side.
Okay.
And you also have a little access panel here, but we're going to leave that alone for right now.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to cinch the machine up to the edge. Just be careful not to go too far. You don't want to wear it. So, yeah.
Wouldn't be very comfortable.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
Not a good way to start your day or end your day.
Yeah.
No part of your day should involve having an espresso machine laying on top of you. All right, we got one there. There. And the last one on the other side of the front. Alrighty. Perfect. And also note that you have the little washers on there. If you lose it, it's not the end of the world. It'll still hold on to the housing, but it does a better job if you keep them. So
Okay.
be mindful of that. All right. Now, the last 2 screws that we have holding the housing on are right here and right here. So I'm going to go ahead and take those out first, but I will note when we have them out, you'll notice the housing is going to drop down. It's not going to pop out yet. We have a tab on the inside over here. And I don't know if you can see very well, but if you look right down here, you'll see a little brass, like a thick washer there. That screw is on the actual frame, and there is a keyhole on the side of the housing that slides into. You'll see better once I get this off, but once I have these screws out, just keep in mind as I loosen it up, it's going to start fighting against that screw. It'll be facing down. There we go. Now it just drops.
And you've got the ball end Allen wrenches there, right? Which
I do, yeah. These make that job a lot easier because it's kind of tricky to go straight in.
Right.
But with the ball end, you can go at an angle.
Get a little bit of angle on it. Sure.
Yeah. So if you're picking up some Allen wrenches to do this job, I always recommend going for the ball end ones.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna flip it around here. This is the trickiest part of it. It's not that bad though. Basically, you're gonna use the reflection of those washers that I pointed out to kind of eyeball and make sure you're lined up with the keyhole. Once you see it starting to go through, you're gonna do a slight flex to the frame, or not the frame, that'd be tough.
Okay.
To the housing,
Yeah.
just to get this little bracket here past there.
Okay.
Okay. And then usually once you got the first one off, the second one is either a little bit easier or a little bit harder because it's more slippy. You don't have as much holding on the other side. But
there you go.
Pop, there you go.
Let's show us those little keyholes, right? Once
Yep. Get this off. I'm just fighting the power cord in the back there.
Sure.
There we go. All right. So that's your keyhole.
Okay.
And that is the screw that's sliding into there.
Right.
So slides in, and then when you lift it up, locks into
Holds
place
in
down
place.
there.
All right.
Okay. And that's all there is to it. Got access to pretty much the entire machine now.
Now, if you want to take out that reservoir carrier, which we're not going to do, but super easy.
Yeah,
right?
if you want unlimited accessibility to all around the boiler there, you just got screw there, one on the other side, take those two out, and they'll lift right out, and then got access to everything.
All right.
All right, it's time to put the housing back on. We're gonna start off, grab your housing, and you're gonna flex out a little bit just so you can make it past everything. And just make sure that the tabs on the lower part make it underneath. And these upper tabs are past your support there. Okay, so the tricky part with these tabs, we're gonna pick up a little bit, and once you're in the right area, it's just a matter of, again, eyeballing those keyholes. But generally, if you get it in the right lineup, it's already there. So basically just popped itself into place, which is really nice. So I'm gonna start with putting the bottom on so I don't have to fight against lining up these upper portions here.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna hold up the housing, and when I put it on, I'm gonna line it up best I can. Best practice for when putting the housing back on any machine really is to not completely tighten up the screws there. That way, if you need to make adjustments and realign anything, you don't have to go back and keep loosening and tightening. So, I'm just gonna get it up there, find the hole. These ones are, the rivets in here are black, so they're a little bit harder to see. I don't know if you'll be able to see them on the camera. I can barely see them with my old man eyes. Go. Get that one started. So we're just getting them in snugged up enough that it's gonna support the housing for us. The nice thing with the 300 is that between the keyhole and the front tab there usually isn't a lot of fighting to get everything to line up right. It kind of just does it on its own. So we shouldn't have much trouble with that. All right, we got the 4 in the bottom there. We got lined up here. So this is the part where you want to make sure you don't drop it in.
Yeah.
It's totally fine to drop it in when you're taking it apart, but nobody wants to pick a machine up and shake it over their head to get a screw out.
You might have a few choice words if that drops in there.
Yeah, not me. No. I would never. All right. And the thing to keep in mind is that since you're trying to come in at a slight angle here, is that if you start seeing your screw going sideways like that one is, back it out. If it starts you start feeling resistance before you know you're actually in there, you want to make sure that you're not going in crooked and stripping your screw. I just kind of push down on the screw a little bit to keep it straight as I start going in. And then again, the rest of the way.
If you feel a lot of resistance, it's like time to back that out.
Yeah. If it's fighting and you're like not even halfway in there, then you don't go any further because you're going to start stripping it, and it's not something you want to do.
Yeah.
And our last screw here, same thing as before, lining up as straight as you can. Kind of hard to let you see that, but I don't know if you can see. I'm just trying to hold it as straight as I can like that as I come in with the wrench, just to avoid stripping it. And hung up on my Band-Aid. There's one thing I will mention, speaking of Band-Aids, just be careful when you're handling the housing. Some of the inner edges, they're not like razor sharp, but they're not a smooth finish like the outer portions are, so just be mindful of that. I want to get little cuts. And you can whine about it on cameras for all the world to see. Okay, so the only other thing we have left to do there is go back and tighten up
the bottom.
The bottoms here. Like I said, they're pretty much all the way tightened up already, but what we were looking for was just making sure it was smooth along here, and usually if it's not smooth along there, I can feel a little bit on this side, is you just kind of give it a little tap from the back side, and that'll flush it out, and then you go through and tighten those up. But that's just tightening them up. You don't need to see that. I don't want to bore you.
Yeah.
We'll go to the lid now, and then, as I said before, 2 long ones, drop straight down, screw those in, and then the back ones, you're gonna have the reservoir floppy back there, so you get the first one in there and not drop it. Make sure you're using the right Allen wrench. And again, I don't tighten it all the way, so that I have the ability to move this one, line the rivet up, slide it in, and tighten it down.
Okay.
That's all there is to it.
Okay. All right. Brian, thanks so much for taking us through that.
Not a problem.